BK, big business, we linked up in the UK with them outlaws, no limit forever, and we mash hard, and we stay out the cheddar. Peace, family. It's your boy Fonzie Neutron representing for BatThatOnline.com. And we're back with a Rank the Tank series. Now, a couple of you guys may have noticed that we've switched over to the Bat That Music channel for this series, and this is where we're going to continue the Rank the Tank along with other music-related content. So we appreciate the guys who checked us out on the last episodes, and we're definitely happy to be back. This week, we're going to be looking at Soulja Slim. Definitely one of the realists who put it down from New Orleans and the No Limit Tank. And we're joined with Inflict the Realist, aka Marv Mendez. What's good with you, fam?
What's good, man? What's good?
I'm good, man. We're here, we're chilling. Good to be back connected. A lot of stuff going on in the world at the minute. We've just been speaking a little bit about the football, the World Cup, all that sort of stuff. But the music, Soulja Slim, is definitely looking forward to be getting into this one, because on the old series we touched on a few of the other No Limit artists who had a couple of albums. Now Soulja Slim, he released 2 albums with No Limit, and recently we saw his Hip Hop Homicides documentary, which we'd encourage people to check out. It featured a lot of information about his life and legacy.
Definitely, most definite, man.
So the first album that Soulja Slim dropped with No Limit was Give It To Him Raw, the debut album of Slim, and it was actually released when he was in jail, so it did good, but I think it built up more of a cult sort of following at the same time, because I think people in New Orleans was already familiar with Soulja Slim, also known as Magnolia Slim at that point. So that really helped his album and stuff move forward. And a lot of the other listeners had heard him on other features and projects and definitely wanted to hear more. So this album was released on May 19th, 1998. And it was widely considered as one of No Limit's best albums. And it was a success, debuting at number 13 on the Billboard 200. And it also debuted at number 4 on the top R&B and hip-hop albums chart. So let's get into this album, produced by Beats by the Pound. We've got KLC, Craig B, Odell, Carlos, Moby Dick, DJ Darryl. The whole Beats by the Pound collective was all over this album, as well as the Soldiers featuring on it. So Give It To Him Raw. Do you remember this album?
Yeah, most definite, man. It's just, Soulja Slim was definitely a big part of the Tank. And tell you the truth, I didn't know till after that how big he was in New Orleans. It's just like, obviously over here, we just getting all the albums and kind of those whoever we're feeling. So a lot of people did feel Soulja Slim because of his, style and what's not. But definitely, like, he has a massive impact on the Tank.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, I know what you're saying about a lot of us not really knowing how big he was in New Orleans. And at the same time, it was like, he was locked up for a period of time. So I think bar his single and a few other things that he probably featured in visually, people didn't really get to see that much visuals of him until later and stuff. So the album, obviously, it kicked off with From What I Was Told, which was also a video single produced by Carlos Stevens. And I think it was a very tight track. Slim kicked off From What I Was Told. I'm a hit No Limit like Pac hit Death Row. Make some money out the asshole. So,
I love the music video to this day. I still think the music video is one of the best No Limit music videos because, P never really focused on the videos. He focused on getting the product out there, the front covers of the albums and everything. But with that music video, that's one of their best music videos they did, to be fair.
I mean, even you mentioned the front cover of the album, it definitely had a strong cover. I think one of the dopest covers that people would associate with the whole 1998 period release and stuff. And, Pen and Pixel cover, as you said, the video single featured a lot of the soldiers, everybody in camouflage, and it's been brought to our attention that Soulja Slim was actually the guy who brought a lot of that camouflage to No Limit, being his own style and stuff. So, the video was tight, Slim out there in the field doing his thing. It really had that army militant feel and stuff. C-Murder was in there, It was a
C-Murder, the famous C-Murder was tight,
Yep, you could see that even from then, man.
Yeah, man. So that song, definitely powerful song to kick off the album.
Yep, and the second track was Street Life featuring Silk the Shocker. Master P and Old Dad. This was actually one of my favorites tracks on
Yeah,
the album and stuff as well. Like a lot of people are familiar with the original song Street Life and this had a similar chorus, but it
yeah,
also had the rap element, which I think Master P and Silk, along with Slim, laid down some tight verses on this.
yeah. Silk done what Silk actually did a brilliant verse. Like Silk had his moments. A lot of people talk about Silk, but he has his moments, man.
Yep, no, definitely. I think Silk Shaka, especially around this period of time, he definitely bought it, and especially as a feature
Yeah,
on certain tracks and albums, he was kind of a standout at that time as well.
most definitely. Yeah, they did their thing.
But Street Life, I mess with that track. I think it's one of the best tracks on the album, and Slim really put it down with just coming from his own street stories and experiences. You could always feel the realism behind his lyrics.
Hmm. Most definitely.
Yep. Track number 3 was "Write Me" featuring Odell, another tight track on this album. Slim
Yeah,
speaking in a situation of, Josin being locked up, doing time, being
yeah,
in jail. And he's speaking of females, relationships, different situations and stuff. So very tight lyricism and storytelling on that song.
yeah. Because when I was watching a lot of documentaries on Soulja Slim lately, and they're saying that a lot of his style, he's more of the prison style of rap. So obviously, a lot of the things and people in prison could relate to that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a fact. I mean, obviously now a lot of slang has become more universal,
Hmm.
whereas at these periods of time, a lot of slang was, I guess, more indicative to certain places and regions. So we've been hearing certain references and stuff that Slim was putting down, like, even just talking about Jolson and stuff like that,
Hmm.
a New Orleans reference for, spending time or doing time. But as you said, Slim was heavy with just putting down certain types of lyrics that if you had lived a certain type of life or you were from a street background, you would definitely feel it and appreciate that.
Yeah,
Number
most definitely.
4 was At the Same Time featuring Snoop Dogg, produced by KLC. And this track was quite interesting because,
Yeah,
it was like Slim and Snoop pretty much spitting the whole song was about them hitting no limit at the same time.
yeah, basically. Yeah, and the impact what they're gonna make and what's not at the same time. Yeah, yeah. That tune was all right still.
And that's two of the biggest artists from No Limit. I
Yeah,
mean, for a Snoop Dogg and Slim song, someone probably would have expected, I think, more from Snoop in a sense. I don't know, but
and me.
it was still a nicely rounded track. KLC did the beat, and
It seemed like a vibing track. Like you with somebody just making a tune and your vibes in on it, and you two is thrown on the album.
yeah, that's a fact. And I mean, it could have been part of that. You know, just representing the tank. They was just putting it down, and I liked it. It was a short track, only 3 minutes 13 seconds, I believe.
Mhm.
After that though, was followed up by Only Real Niggas, which I definitely rock with that track. Track number
Yeah,
5,
love it,
Slim Solo. Love it
love it.
also. Tight lyricism, tight beat, Cal C on the beat. I mean the message, the lyrics, it says it all, I mean
Yeah,
Slim, I only fuck with bone killers, dope dealers are real,
real
come on
niggas.
man. So
Yeah,
it's like
I get it how
real
it
niggas
is.
are
You get
treated,
me?
yep.
Trust me, big tune, man.
So, that's definitely one that's still a hood classic and a
Yeah.
street classic to this day. And I mean, number 6, "Pray for You Baby" featured Master P and also Trey Nitty, who's a member of the Cutthroat Committee. And I always
Hmm.
thought Trey Nitty was
Yeah,
was
good.
was tight, and he was never a No
Yeah,
Limit artist, but it was dope that he always featured on the Slim projects and stuff. So it showed the relationship he had with Slim, and I guess the weight that Slim had with being able to include his own people and stuff on albums and stuff as well. Not many No Limit soldiers did that, apart from a few. Most of their albums was just the Tank and a few other big name artists, but in terms of like bringing their own people in. We know Full Blooded had like the Hounds of Town and a few others like
yeah,
that he brought in, but um, Trey Nitty, as I said, he killed this as well.
definitely.
Pete did his thing. Craig B on the beat. Track number 7 was Headbuster
Another
featuring
big
Big Ed and
tune.
Mr. Servan. As you said, another big tune, Carlos on the beat. Now, Silos was one of my favorite producers, and he also
Yeah,
produced the second track after that, which was track number 8, Me and My Cousin, featuring Full.
big, big tune. So are they real cousins? That's what I always wanted to know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, you just gotta listen to that track, man,
Yeah,
because they tell such a story on that of just, family being related, having each other's backs
okay.
and stuff. And so yeah, they're definitely real cousins.
Okay, that's big, man. Big.
So, that's definitely a big track, Full Blooded. To me, one of his best features. And you know, if I was to sit here and say I'm gonna think of, what features Full Blooded did on other No Limit albums and songs. Yeah, so definitely Full Blooded. I thought it was one of his better features, or one of his top features that he did on No Limit, because he really bought it on this, and maybe it was just the kinship and the relationship with him and Slim. They
Mhm.
really went hard on that track. Number 9, a
Yeah,
classic
definitely, most definite.
featuring Mia X, You Got It, which Soulja Slim had an original to this track,
No,
I
come
believe,
big.
when he was Magnolia Slim, and now coming with this one, and then Mia X
Hmm.
adding her flavor and doing her thing. I mean, KLC on the beat.
Yeah,
It was kind of like a I'm Bout It, not the same type of track, but the way that
yeah,
it was included on I'm Bout It, and really help bring the track out. I think she did the same on this one.
yeah. It's like I've watched one battle that I'll send it to you later. It was Manifest versus KRC. You probably already seen it.
Okay,
And when he played, I won it. Oh
you
my,
got,
it was
yeah,
over. Finished it. Finished it.
yep. It's a classic, man. It's like we were saying
I will
earlier,
send you
just
that. But
yeah, I've seen the battle. I think the one where they're DJing.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, it kind of coincides with what we said earlier about just Slim being, big and an underground legend in New Orleans, because
Yeah,
I Got It, You Got It was something that he was known for prior to No Limit, I believe.
yeah.
And then now having the version Under the Tank was a tight reference. So we're
Mm.
halfway through the album now, which is track number 10. Another track featuring Master P, who's all over this album on quite a few tracks, and it was You Ain't Ever Seen What I
Big
See.
song.
Yep.
Another
What
big
you what
song.
you like about that one?
I just like it's just Hambra with that with Master P. You know what I mean? Master P
Yep.
just doing the one or two things in it, but it does change the track. I think P was very smart with just doing the little gimmicks. P was good with the gimmicks.
Yeah, he knew how to work his style, and he knew how to work the
Yeah,
brand and certain
yeah,
elements. I definitely agree with that. And Craig B on the beat, you can't go wrong. Interesting
yeah,
enough, Craig
brilliant.
B actually produced the following two tracks as well. One of them being Anything featuring Mia X, which is another type Mia X feature, and
Yeah,
track number 12, which was a solid track, which has gone on to be, remade and remixed and stuff, which was Imagine featuring
yeah,
C Murder and Mac. And
yeah,
that's I think that's up there as a classic.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, C
Big
killed
tune.
it, Mac killed it, Craig
And
B on the beat.
Craig B is a really underestimated producer out of the tank. Because like he done a lot of the big tunes what they made. He actually made. He was behind it.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
Craig B was,
I know he done a lot of stuff with Mystical as well.
yeah, that's a fact. Craig B definitely tight in his day, man. I wonder what happened to him, if he's still around doing stuff. I know
Hmm.
KLC and the other guys are still doing bits here and there. But yeah, Craig B was definitely a standout producer, and just
Definitely.
the beats that he laid down, tight. I mean,
Yeah,
track number 13 on this album, Taking Hits, which was another tight track produced by Odell. Slim kind of rapping about being a hitman and that sort of thing. I thought
yeah.
that was a tight track as well too. And track number 14, another solid track was Wode, produced by
Yeah.
KLC. And we taught that New Orleans slang and style. Slim definitely put it down on that. Wrote it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Big tune, man. And big
Def-
saying as well. You know what I mean? That's a big saying in New Orleans.
Yeah, that's a fact. And I think one thing with Slim was, there was a time when obviously Cash Money were coming up and they was doing their thing, and they were strong representatives of the Magnolia. People associated Calliope with P and No Limit and stuff, but with Slim, I always thought when I heard him, you could tell he was like a veteran from the Magnolia. As much as we had heard, the Hot Boys and stuff like that, I believe those
Mm,
guys were maybe younger than Slim. I don't know how much younger or whatever, but I always felt when I heard Slim, he was like his No Limits kind of Magnolia artist in a sense. Like he
yeah.
he got a similar style and cadence to an extent.
Yeah, you could just see you see where who BG looked up to.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because
You could see that.
we know there's that New Orleans influence, and a lot of that's been I guess made apparent now where people have come out and said these things. We even seen Juvenile on the documentary, and he speaks
Yeah,
about just the impact Slim had,
yeah, yeah.
prior.
Most
So
definite.
Walden was definitely a tight trap, man, and Slim put it down. Number 15 was Get High With Me, featuring Trinity and Mystical.
And
Once again, tight.
I think Trinity murdered it, man. To be fair,
Yep, he killed it.
Matt, know your projects. The
Trinity,
flow, yo.
he with Trinity, he had such a unique style and flow.
Very good rapper, man.
He had such a unique style and flow, and so did Slim. But I think even the artists that Slim would work with, they were tight too. He definitely had
Yeah,
it there for music and stuff. Also,
yeah, 100%.
track number 16 was another tight track, Lawbreakers, tight beat produced by Moby Dick, Slim on the solo tip, and he absolutely ripped this one.
Yeah, man.
Lawbreakers, that beat was tight, Slim's lyrics was tight. I mean, what else? What can you say? And definitely just quintessential gangster rapper of the 90s. That was this track really holds up with that.
Mm, most
Track
definite, man.
Track number 17 was only 2 minutes 39 seconds. A lot of people felt it could have been longer, wanted it to be longer, but that doesn't take nothing away from the dopeness of the song. Produced by KLC. What's up? What's happening? Now, when I say what's up, y'all say what's happening.
Yeah, what's up? What big tune? Big.
This tune incredible. Bananas, Slim with the
Yeah,
lyricism, KL on the beat. Um, just had that bounce essence and feeling. Slim even spitting on there about that, retiring from bounce and stuff. And
yeah, yeah, yeah.
he done some of the typical kind of elements that if you listen to a lot of the old New Orleans bounce stuff, and when they bigging up the hoods and the wards, one of the dopest parts of the track, he said, "Third, what, four, four, fifth, what's it, what's up, what eight, what nine, what ten?"
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
And
because even if you hear like a No Limit was away from the bounce, because remember Mystical when he done that never gone bow, never gone bounce. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Because he was against bounce. Mystical was.
yeah, I mean, Slim being definitely rooted in New Orleans came up under that bounce essence.
Yeah,
Obviously, we know P and those guys had spent time in California and other places. So,
yeah, yeah.
I mean, P still messed around with the bounce, but not in the same kind of capacity.
Not,
But
yeah,
I think it was something we had familiarized with. Definitely Cash Money, and a lot of people probably thought it
yeah,
was it was like their own signature style in a sense, whereas it was more of a New Orleans thing and stuff as well. So,
yeah.
and Slim was always able to show he could do that, but not just sound like a typical kind of bounce rapper. He still had his own element and that street element that
Lyrical
he brought
contents
with.
and all that.
Yeah, that's a fact. Track number 18, another one of my favorite tracks off this album, featuring Steady Mobbin, Crooked Eye and Billy Bathgate.
Yeah,
Hustling is a Habit, killer track, produced
big,
by Odell.
big tune.
Steady Mobbin killed their features. It was great to hear them and Slim together. I think they all really meshed well on this song.
Hmm.
Yep.
Most definite, man. Again, then he want to do their thing, man.
Nah, they did, man. They all meshed together well on this, and it was tight, especially as it was coming down, even just winding down to the ending of the album. but they all came
Mm.
together and put it down tight, and it definitely made for a dope track. Track number 19 featuring Silk the Shaka, Fiend, and once again Full Blooded, a song called Getting Real, which was another tight KRC produced beat and song. And Silk on the hook. He really put it down and done
Yeah,
his thing. And tight verses by Fiend, obviously, and Full Blooded.
yeah, man.
The Hound, So it was
Count from Gert Town. I rate the Count from Gert Town, which for me, it's like some days he's really on point. Like sometimes he doesn't, kills a tune, and sometimes I'm like, yo, because obviously the Full Blooded album, I was like, is that the same guy? I tried to figure out. You get me?
yeah. I
I
think
don't know if you have the same thing.
yeah, Hound. I mean, he definitely had his own style and stuff. And I I I agree that he bought it more on some features than others, depending on who he was featuring with.
Yeah,
But him and Slim always made a dope feature.
always.
So, and this was, wasn't an exception to that also. Track number 20 was the last track to close the album, which I always enjoyed. I felt of it as like a soldier song in one aspect because No Limit
Yeah,
always had the soldier song. And what was quite interesting, it had Trey Nitty on it also, and it was called No Limit Party featuring Master P, Silk the Shaka, Full Blooded, Gambino Family, Big Ed, Prime Suspects, Mac, Kane and Neighbor, Magic, and Snoop Dogg. Now, some may say that they just put these songs together to just, get a bunch of people on the album. However, you're looking at the track list, Full Blooded, that Slim's fam, Trey Nitty, that Slim's fam,
yeah,
and guys like Prime Suspects, Matt, Kane and Abel, Magic, Big Ed, Snoop, Gambino Family, P and Silk. That the respect was there and the track, it came out really tight. Ain't no party like a No Limit Party. Simple hook, but
sorry.
the beat was tight, little Moby Dick, funky beat, and everybody floated well.
Mm. Brilliant, man. And even the way the end, even Snoop at the end, Snoop had finished the song off.
Yeah, you right. And he was like an abrupt ending, but he just come and just, put it down and laid it down, you
Yeah,
know what I mean? He just, put the final icing on the cake as we call it.
yeah, definite, man.
Yeah,
Good album.
definitely a solid album, especially for his first release on No Limit, coming off his 1995 Dark Side release. But his first No Limit official release, Give It to Him Raw, 1998. Solid album myself. I mean, if this was a source, I don't know what they ranked in the Source magazine, but I'd rank it a 4 out of 5.
Yeah,
What about
yeah,
yourself?
same. I'll say about 4.5. Yeah,
Okay,
definitely.
4.5. Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So that
definitely a top 10 and only album.
So what made this one stand out to you as a No Limit fan or just hearing Slump? And had you heard him on other stuff
Because,
much before you heard this album?
yeah, because I heard him on the Down South Hustlers, obviously with I Want It, You Got It. And then I heard him on a few others, doing the C Murder album, Life or Death. Heard him on the Snoop Dogg. But when he heard him on his own, and then, I just, I liked him on the Snoop Dogg first album, Game to Be Sold, Not to Be Told.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, for me, it was, different. I was like, yo, who's this guy? And then when I heard his album, I was like, yeah, 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 he's big. But I just liked him. I didn't know the whole background about him until later on. You realize how important he was to New Orleans, the style. Then you see, oh, when it says, tell Slim the jug in our style, the Masterpiece said that.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, okay, I get what's happening now. This
um,
guy is,
Everybody used to always reference Slim even when he went around, conspicuous by his absence, definitely, and I remember those, as you said, those references that people would throw out about Slim, P and
yeah,
everybody when he wasn't around. And those features that he did. He did a type feature on the last Don also, I believe was Snoop. Daddy wasn't home, so mama raised me. I'm a
yeah,
father, but
yeah,
still mama. But even just
yeah.
Slim's verse that he kicked on that, that's one of the verses that really made me like, I don't want to say a Slim fan, but I was like, because at the time I was a big P fan, and then hearing that album and hearing Slim's feature on it was like, I
Yeah,
need to
he
hear more.
murdered
I
that.
need to hear more from this brother.
Yeah, yeah, and he does his voice and just like just different for the time, especially the time it was in, because everybody tried to have like, it was either the Biggie or the Tupac style back then. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a fact. So he definitely helped just bring a whole different style and slang and cadence and stuff to the game,
Mm-hmm.
which we still see repeated now from others throughout hip hop within the scene. A lot of people now have coined what we refer to as the Soulja Slim flow, with certain
Yeah.
rappers even releasing songs, rapping in a similar style, cadence, and
Mm.
essence. So definitely a tight one from Slim. Give it to him raw. It was one of his best albums, and definitely some people would say his best album with No Limit. What do you guys
Yeah.
think? Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below, and we'll be back ranking the tank again soon. Join us on the line, BoutTheOnline.com, for the hottest UK US flavor. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to be updated on new drops and content.